Hey everybody, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we're going to take a look at a new reverb plugin from DDMF in collaboration with Ian Sefcik over at MagicDeathEye. Ian also worked at Capitol Studios, kind of the inspiration for this plugin. A great sounding, easy to use reverb. And we're going to start by looking at some of the controls. The controls are super simple. Sometimes you get a reverb plugin and it's completely overwhelming, the amount of control you have over it. Sometimes it's really nice just to have a few simple controls and some great sounds to dial up. And that's kind of what you have right here. We've got a gain, an input gain slider, where you can control that input signal. Got a couple of LED lights for how hot that input is, green, yellow, and red. We've got our different spaces over here, mostly spaces, chambers and rooms, with a plate and a digital reverb thrown in as well. A wet dry knob, short and long. And you can see the rainbow move, that little nod to Monty Python. Basically, this controls the length of the reverb tail. So if you choose a specific sound that you like, a character or a tone of a reverb you like, but you want it a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, you can use this to stretch it out or shorten it up. And then, of course, pre-delay, pretty standard, all the way up to 1 second, or no pre-delay at all. And it's kind of cool how some of those graphics move as you slide those sliders around. And that's it for controls. So with reverb, really, it's about the sound. Do we like the sound of the actual reverb that's being presented? And in this, we're just going to go through the basic patches here, starting with beautiful, smooth chamber. You can probably guess some of these chambers took their inspiration from the famous Capitol chambers, but maybe they have their own kind of unique take on it. So we're going to listen to it on a vocal. I'm going to start with the dry vocal, and then I'm going to bring this fader up. You're going to hear that reverb blend in as I do that. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. You could just let it go. You could just let it go. I'll push it up even hotter. You could just let it go. So that's way more reverb than I'd actually use in a mix, but it's great to hear kind of the tail of it. Let's go to the next one, thick, smooth chamber. I'll do the same thing, dial it up as it plays. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. You could just let it go. You could just let it go. Same thing with classic chamber here. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. You could just let it go. You could just let it go. Old mid-range chamber. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. You could just let it go. You could just let it go. So the sound dropped out for just a moment. It's a demo version right now. I'm checking it out and kind of lost the sound for a moment. For these, I'm not going to pull the fader up. I'm going to leave it pretty hot and just go through the different ones. Let's start with bright sun chamber next. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. Main studio room. So we're getting out of the chambers and now into smaller spaces. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. Much less reverb on that one. Reflective room. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. Small dry room. Anytime you want, push it up a little hotter. Yeah, you could just let it go. So very small amount of space there. Deep lush plate. Bring it back a little bit. Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. It's got a nice plate sound and a digital reverb. Anytime you want,
could just let it go.
You can hear that kind of slight graininess of the digital verb. Really nice. Next thing I'm going to do is leave it on the vocal, go back to beautiful, smooth chamber, and experiment with moving around the length slider. I'm going to start with it really short all the way down.
Anytime you want, yeah, you could just let it go. You could just
Bring it up.
anytime you want.
Even more.
Anytime you want, yeah.
That's really long. Let's bring it all the way up.
Anytime you want.
Really long reverb there. Very nice. Let's try it on a different source. Let's jump over to the piano part. This I'm putting directly on the channel, so I'm going to bring that knob all the way down to dry. I'm going to dial in the wet-dry mix. This is on the main studio room patch. Dial in some pre-delay. Bypass. And back on. Just a really nice sense of space, not really obvious reverb at all. Let's try reflective room. You can really hear a lot of difference between 40 and 50 in the wet-dry mix. I'll just bring it back down to 40. Barely noticeable, and I barely push it. It really starts to come into play here. Right about 45 is the sweet spot. Small, dry room. Let's try bright sun chamber on this piano. So there it is, MagicVerb from DDMF in conjunction with Ian Sevchik and MagicDeathEye. Really a great sounding reverb plugin, especially the chambers. Some really nice sounding chambers and rooms. And the plate and the digital verb thrown in are a great bonus on top of that. Sometimes, like I said in the beginning, it's just nice to have a really simple to use, great sounding reverb that's versatile, and this kind of fits the bill for that. You've got your smaller room spaces, your bigger chambers, your plate, and a nice digital verb, all with simple to use controls. So highly recommended for this one. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next, and I'll see you in the next one.